Hello, boys and girls. My name is Teacher Dani, and I'm with Full Day Preschool, and I have another story to share with you today. It is called Splat the Cat and the Pumpkin Picking Plan. Now, looking at the cover, what do you think this story is going to be about? What do we see here? We see some pumpkins. And we see what types of animals? A cat and a little mouse. Now this cat is named Splat. You know, Splat and cat are rhyming words. Rhyming words mean they sound exactly the same. So let's turn the page and figure out what's going to happen in this story. Autumn was one of Splat's favorite seasons. Remember the other week we talked about the word fall for the season that we're in? Well, another word for fall is autumn. It's when the leaves start to fall from the trees. Now we can see in this picture that this lady has something in her hand. Does anybody know what this is? It's something that we use to pick up the leaves, and it starts with the r sound. It's called a rake. Okay? So it looks like the leaves are falling down from the trees, and she's raking the leaves. Like you've seen the rakes before, like maybe sometimes when the gardeners come and they clean up all the leaves, you use the rakes to pick up the leaves. I'll help you rake the leaves, Mom, Splat offered. Thank you, Splat, Mom said. Splat was good at raking leaves. Seymour helped too. Soon they made a huge pile. Splat stared at the pile. Suddenly, he had a great idea. His tail wiggled wildly. Wow! Look at all the pile of leaves. They're really high up, right? And they're all different colors. Splat is being helpful. Is it good to be helpful? Yes. What are some ways we can think of how to help our friends? When we're at school or when you're even at home, how can we help our friends and our family? Let's think of some ideas. You can help them maybe do the dishes, help them clean, or maybe help them learn something new, right? Let's see what happens next. Splat! Leaves went flying everywhere. Oh my goodness. Look at this mouse. What's his expression? Does he look happy or sad or scared? What do you think? I think he looks scared too. His mouth is wide open and his eyes are big, right? Splat's mom sighed. I have an idea, Splat, she said. Why don't you go to Farmer Patch's pumpkin patch? You can pick out a pumpkin to decorate and put on our porch. Splat thought that sounded like a great idea. I'll pick the most perfect pumpkin ever, he promised. So let's see. He's getting ready and he's looking up at his friend because he's going to pick a pumpkin. Splat grabbed his wagon and he and Seymour set off on their way. Splat loved Farmer Patch's pumpkin patch. There was so much to see and do. So look at, what does Splat have behind him? He's pulling it along. I'm sure some of you may have used this. This is called a wagon, okay? A wagon carries a lot of different things. You can put a lot of different things in wagons. Sometimes people go in wagons and sometimes objects can go in wagons. And then here's the pumpkin patch. So a pumpkin patch is where a bunch of pumpkins are set out and you get to pick your very special pumpkin to take home with you. And what do we see in the middle? A very scary scarecrow, okay? Do you know what the scarecrows do? Yes, the scarecrows actually are there to scare away any crows so that they don't eat the pumpkins. Because if there wasn't a scarecrow, all the crows would eat all the crops and all the fruit and vegetables in the field. So the scarecrows are there to make the crows go away. He got lost in a hay bale maze. He tasted fresh apple and fish cider. Then Splat remembered he was supposed to pick out the perfect pumpkin. The perfect pumpkin should be big, orange, and round, he told Seymour. So look, in this picture we see a maze, right? A maze is something that you go through. You have a start part and a finishing end, okay? And then he had some cider. Sometimes we drink cider around the holidays, around November when it starts to get cooler, right? And then he's remembering that he has to pick the perfect pumpkin. And he wants his big, orange, and round. What kind of pumpkin do you think you would choose? I think I would choose a big one too, if I were getting my pumpkin. He found a pumpkin that was very round and very orange. Too small, he announced. The next pumpkin was big and orange. Not round enough, he told Seymour. Now look. What do you notice in Splat's hand? Does anybody know what that's called? You're right. You guys are smart. It's a magnifying glass, right, guys? And what we use a magnifying glass for is to make small things look big. We have to look close at the small details in our pumpkins, right? But it's too small. Now look at this one. This pumpkin's even bigger than Splat. And what is Splat doing? He has something wrapped around the pumpkin. He's measuring, right? He's using a measuring tape to measure the pumpkin. And look, he's putting it around the pumpkin. And what we call that, when we put the measuring tape around the pumpkin, that's called the circumference. Can you say circumference? Good job, guys. This is the circumference of the pumpkin. How much it is all the way around. And he's using his friend Mouse as teamwork so he can get it all the way around. Seymour found a big, round pumpkin. Not orange enough, Splat said. Splat's tail wiggled wildly with worry. Would he ever find the perfect pumpkin? But then Splat spotted another pumpkin. It was round. It was orange. It was the biggest pumpkin in the place. Okay, now if we look at this, he doesn't want this pumpkin because this one doesn't look orange. What color does it look? It looks kind of like a yellow-green, right? If you look at the picture. But look at his eyes. What does his eyes say? What do you think? His expression. He has his eyes wide open. He looks kind of in shock or surprised, right? Let's find out what happens next. Perfect, Splat cried. Mom will love this one. But there was one problem. How was Splat going to get the pumpkin home? This won't fit in my wagon, Splat said. I know, he said. I'll roll it. So look what he's doing. He had an idea, right? And his idea was to get that big pumpkin. Do you think he'd be able to pick this pumpkin up? No, I think it would be too heavy, right? It has too much weight. It's really big. So his idea was to roll it. So he's rolling it. And he's on top of the pumpkin rolling it. He's doing a good job of balancing right now. Splat rolled the pumpkin out of the gate. He rolled it on the road and down a hill. Whoa, Splat cried. Splat ran. The pumpkin rolled. The pumpkin wouldn't stop no matter what Splat did. Help, Splat cried. Oh no, what's happening? What's happening to the pumpkin? You're right. It's rolling, rolling, rolling fast down the hill. And look at, is Splat balancing on top of the pumpkin anymore? No, he's almost going to fall. He's struggling to stay on that pumpkin because it's rolling super, super fast. Wow, Splat could steer the runaway pumpkin with his feet. He steered over a bridge and in between cars and right through his front gate. Oh my goodness. So look, he's moving the pumpkin around the cars and through his front gate using his feet. So that word steering means moving around, okay? That's what it means, steering the pumpkin, moving it in a certain direction. I wonder what's going to happen. Finally, the pumpkin stopped. Splat's mom smiled. Oh, Splat, it's perfect, she said. Well done. Splat smiled back. It was no trouble, he said. No trouble at all. So look it. Was Splat able to find his pumpkin? Yes, he made it. He found his big orange round pumpkin and he brought it to his mom. Dun, 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 the end. I hope you guys enjoyed Splat the cat, and we will be having many more books to share with you. You have a nice day. Bye-bye.